Bajo Nuevo Bank. Bajo Nuevo Bank is a mostly submerged reef system in the Caribbean Sea claimed by multiple states and used to generate overlapping maritime jurisdiction zones. It matters because under international law, even features that remain underwater can still produce exclusive economic rights if they are recognized on official maritime charts. This means the physical reef itself is not the source of value, but the legal classification attached to it. Different states assert competing claims over the same submerged structure, which creates layered jurisdiction maps that overlap without physically interacting. Fishing rights, seabed resource exploration, and naval patrol zones all shift depending on which legal interpretation is applied. This produces a situation where the same piece of ocean exists in multiple political realities at once, each enforced through different administrative frameworks. Hans Island. Hans Island is a small, uninhabited island located in the Nares Strait between Canada and Greenland that was historically disputed through peaceful, symbolic occupation. It matters because even in low-stakes territorial environments, maritime boundary definitions still require precise physical reference points to separate exclusive economic zones. For decades, both sides engaged in non-military signaling, including flag placements and periodic visits, treating the island as a structured negotiation marker rather than a strategic asset. Diego Garcia. Diego Garcia is a remote atoll in the Indian Ocean administered by the United Kingdom and used as a major United States military base positioned at the center of global maritime and air routes. It matters because its location allows continuous operational reach across Africa, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia, effectively linking multiple conflict zones through a single logistical hub. The island operates as a forward projection system, where aircraft staging, intelligence gathering, and naval coordination are centralized for rapid deployment. Its infrastructure is designed not for local use, but for sustained global mobility, turning geography into a launch platform for external operations. Paracel Islands. The Paracel Islands are a group of islands and reefs in the South China Sea, controlled by China, but also claimed by Vietnam and Taiwan. They matter because they function as permanent surveillance and enforcement platforms positioned near some of the world's busiest shipping lanes. Over time, natural features have been expanded into artificial operational zones with airfields, radar systems, and port infrastructure capable of sustaining long-term military presence. This transforms them into fixed observation points embedded within a moving global trade system, where ships passing through the region are continuously monitored. The islands are not endpoints of control, but embedded sensors inside a larger maritime network, converting open ocean movement into trackable strategic data. Kuril Islands. The Kuril Islands are a volcanic chain stretching between Russia and Japan, with several southern islands still under territorial dispute. Their location controls maritime access between the Pacific Ocean and the Sea of Okhotsk, making them strategically important for naval positioning and regional security structure. The dispute originates from post-World War II territorial redistribution that never fully stabilized into a mutually accepted boundary. As a result, the islands exist in a dual state condition, administratively controlled in practice, but diplomatically unresolved in principle, creating a permanent structural tension embedded in geography itself. Rockall. Rockall is a remote granite islet in the North Atlantic that becomes geopolitically significant due to how maritime law interprets isolated land features. It matters because even uninhabitable rocks can extend exclusive economic zones, depending on legal recognition under international conventions. This transforms Rockall into a jurisdictional lever rather than a physical territory. The surrounding waters contain fishing grounds and potential seabed resources, meaning the legal status of a single rock influences large-scale economic access. Its importance exists entirely through classification systems, where geography functions as input data for territorial projection rather than physical occupation. Spratly Islands. The Spratly Islands are a dispersed system of reefs and small land features in the South China Sea, claimed by multiple countries including China, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan. They matter because they represent large-scale artificial land creation used to convert disputed ocean space into controlled infrastructure networks. Reclamation projects have transformed submerged reefs into expanded artificial islands capable of hosting runways, military bases, and surveillance systems. This re-engineering of geography turns unstable natural formations into permanent strategic infrastructure positioned along major global shipping corridors. Scarborough Shoal. Scarborough Shoal is a coral reef formation in the South China Sea, claimed by both the Philippines and China. It matters because it functions as a highly productive fishing zone embedded inside overlapping maritime jurisdiction claims, making it a direct source of economic pressure between competing states. Although the reef is mostly submerged and shifts with environmental conditions, it becomes politically active through continuous presence of Coast Guard and enforcement vessels. Fishing access is regulated through operational control rather than formal settlement, turning the shoal into a managed exclusion zone where resource access is controlled through maritime positioning rather than ownership of land. Senkaku Islands. The Senkaku Islands are a group of uninhabited islands in the East China Sea, controlled by Japan but also claimed by China and Taiwan. They matter because they sit at the intersection of competing exclusive economic zones, where control determines access to fisheries, potential energy reserves, and regional shipping influence. Some are little more than rocks, others disappear beneath the tide. A few are so remote that almost nobody lives on them. But modern borders aren't drawn by the size of the land itself. They're drawn by what that land can project. A reef can become a fishing zone. A rock can generate maritime claims. An artificial island can extend military reach hundreds of kilometers into open water. Across the world's oceans, geography acts less like territory and more like infrastructure. Tiny features become legal anchors, economic gateways, surveillance platforms, and strategic checkpoints that shape access to resources, trade routes, and influence. These were never just islands, they were control points. And in a world where power increasingly depends on who controls the spaces between countries, even the smallest piece of land can become the center of a global